Hello there. So today I'm going to be doing a special video. I'm going to be having the amazing Mel from a book feed named Mel joining me, and we are going to be recording a conversation about the first three Mortal Instruments books. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, Mel and I have been buddy reading these books for probably about 3 months now. We've read one book a month. We started with City of Bones, moved on to City of Ashes, and we've just finished City of Glass. And we thought that it would be a really good idea, now that we're taking a break from them because we're stopping at City of Glass, moving on to the Infernal Devices, and then going back to the Mortal Instruments because that's apparently the most interesting reading order. So that's the way we're doing it. And we thought it'd be a good idea because we're stopping, because we're about to change series. It'd be good to have a discussion on what we've read and discuss. Sorry, the camera's shaking, and discuss our viewpoints because I absolutely adore the books. If you've watched any of my vlogs, you will know I am in love with the series. Mel, on the other hand, is not the biggest fan. She thinks they're all well and good, she's fine with them, but she does take issue with quite a few things. Whereas I just love them despite any issues they may have. And it's going to be a very interesting discussion to basically talk about all of the things I love and then talk about all of the things she doesn't like. And I also have a few theories on where this could potentially go in the future. So just so you know, this is books 1, 2, and 3. City of Bones, City of Glass, and City of Ashes. And I said them in the wrong order, but we'll go with it. So there will be spoilers throughout for them. Mainly from me. Well, maybe. I don't know. I love discussing spoilers. They're the best part. So I'm going to be filming with Mel in about 20 minutes. So I will see you when I join with Mel.
So, where do we start? You loved
Uh,
it.
I did. I
Let's
really
start
did.
with that.
Uh, I just really thought it was a good story overall. Like I've said, I read them when I read the first two
Yep.
when I was in high school.
Oh, I
So I've
didn't
kind of
realize
always
that.
had the well. I have definitely read them because I remember reading them, which is why I've got them because I thought, oh, I liked them because I got them from the school
Right.
library.
Yeah.
So years later, I was just kind of saying, oh, for Christmas, just get me this box set. They're really cheap. Just I've read them before. They're cool. I like them. And then I started rereading them, and I don't remember any of it. Do not remember a single thing. So I mean, I know I read them probably in my last year of school because I remember the third one come out, and we got the third one in our school
Okay.
library.
Yep.
But it was when I was leaving, so I didn't get to read it.
Uh,
Um, but I didn't remember anything. Even when I read it, and I thought, this is weird because this isn't bringing any sort of flashback to me
yeah,
at
that's
all.
funny.
Um, so I went in thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be great. I've read them before. I'll remember it all. I'll get all that nostalgia. And then I went in with no nostalgia. Uh, but I just thought it was a fun read. I think I struggled with the chapter lengths
Mm.
because I know you've said before when it comes to like chapter lengths, it's quite typical in fantasy to have quite long chapters. So
Yeah.
you're probably more accustomed to that than I am because I don't really do long chapters. So I know when I read the first book, I was reading like one chapter a day because it was like 20 or 30 pages. I was like, I need a break after that long chapter. Um, but I did get used to it reading them. And I just thought the story was good.
Yep.
Like, I spoke to one of my friends who's, I think, halfway through reading the second book now. And they said, like, the whole first part of that second book is just rubbish. There's nothing happening at all. And I remember when I was reading City of Ashes, I said, there isn't actually much happening here. But for me, that felt okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I started questioning, like, well, why am I okay with no plot? Like, that's weird. Um, but it felt natural. And I don't know how you've been reading it, but I've just read it as the first book happened, and then when I started the second book, they said it had only been like a couple of weeks since the end of the first book. And I thought, well, it's kind of normal. Nothing would happen within those few weeks, really. They probably are just on a bit of a calming down slope. And then it started building up again towards the end. And I've said in all of my things, Cassandra Clare is very good at writing endings. Like the start and middle of the book are just kind of rocky,
Yeah.
and then the ending's all high action. But I don't really know why I enjoy them. Because I know it's not the best written. It is not the best written story. The characters are not very well developed. But I think I just find it easy and fun, and I don't try and go to that deeper level because I know if I did, I wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I'll just take it as it comes and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if I just focus on the plot rather than the other stuff, I find that I really, really like the plot because that is my level of fantasy right now.
Yeah.
So that's what it works for me. So I think that's why I like it, because I'm not focusing on the negatives, because I know if I do, I won't like it.
You are
So
allowed just to like
ignoring
it.
It's like you do with a lot of book series you love. You just like, I know
You just
it's
ignore
not
it.
perfect.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ignore that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as I'm sure most people are aware by now, I didn't like the books very much. With the caveat of, I agree that I like the premise. There are some things that I like about it, but I was the opposite. I couldn't get past some of the less good sides of the writing. I think there are reasons for that, which we've talked about before, but yeah, I didn't hate them, but they're not my most favorite thing, and I think there are a few reasons, and one is definitely some of the writing. I had said this in a video I made recently, which I'm pretty sure I've put up, but I'm gonna say it again. I feel like Cassandra Clare got told what a simile was, and she took that to literally mean every time you write a simile, you write, they did this thing and it was like blah, 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 blah. And so every description that she writes is using a simile. No one apparently described a metaphor to her. She's using a simile and she's literally using like, and I just was, plus it's so frequently as well. I read a paragraph out to some friends that were around the other night, because we actually are allowed to have friends over now. Yeah, it is nice. So I was describing to them, I'm like, I'm going to read you this paragraph, and they were all just, oh, good Lord, what, why? So that was really hard for me to go past. And then also, I'm really sorry, everybody watching this video, I don't really like the whole, now this is going to be a spoiler, I don't really like the whole Jace Clary thing. I don't, it felt really, I kind of knew it was coming, and even what ends up being the situation, like I kind of knew the whole, as soon as they said the relationship, when you find out the relationship, I was like, yeah, but it's going to resolve itself in some fashion so that it's not true. And then what I said would be what it was, and that's fine. Like, it's fine if I guess things, that's not a problem, but I don't know, it just felt like it was too obvious. But
in the first book, when you found out that they were siblings, I was like, whoa,
what?
okay. I was like, this is changing everything. Because I thought it would have been really, really good. Like, this is the only way I think she could have done it better, is if they were siblings and she kept on that trail of, okay, now we're just brother sister.
Yep.
Because obviously I know they got the feelings. I know it's hard to just brush them away.
Yes.
But I thought it would have been really good to have that dynamic change of it's not a love story anymore. It's siblings are working together now.
Mm.
And I thought if they'd have kept on that, it would have been even better. But I didn't mind. I thought they were kind of cute. I didn't really care about the romance part of it. That being said, if anyone's watched my videos on me reading them for the first time, I do cry a lot when they do cute things.
You big
But
fuck.
it's just, it wasn't the main plot point for me, so I didn't really care. I was like, okay, it's fine. And then the sibling thing happened, and I was like, right, now I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second book was about them kind of trying to work their way around their new relationship, and I thought, okay, I'm on board with it. But I did have a prediction in book 2 that they would end up not being siblings after all. And then book 2 finished. I was like, oh,
Oh, maybe
okay,
not then.
I
Yeah.
was wrong. And then book 3, obviously everything came out, and I was like, aha, I was right. But it wasn't convenient because it was very confusing. But I do agree, it was kind of like they were always going to happen. And I just kind of wish they kept it to the original track.
Yeah.
But I have found when it comes to characters and their relationships, I do like Clary. I like her personality. A lot of people despise her, but I really like her personality. Like, she has just kind of been thrown into this world, and she's sarcastic. She doesn't take any crap from people. She's like me, really. She just, if someone annoys her, she'll just call them out on it, and I just really like that because she's different. Obviously, I know it's fantasy, so it will probably happen more in fantasy books, but she's different from the typical like damsel in distress female character that you come to see in a lot of books, and I really liked that, and I thought it was good. Especially when you have someone like Jace, who's such a big, strong character, you'd expect her to fall into that role, and instead she really just doesn't. But I have found after reading this third book, their whole relationship and them two as characters, as much as I like them, I care about them a lot less than any other character. Like, I want an entire side story of Alec and Magnus, and I want a story on Simon. I just want them. I want their story. I'm bored of Clary and Jace now. That's what I thought. I thought because this book was meant to be like the end of the trilogy, and then obviously she wrote more later on because she thought, yeah, I can make more money.
Which is clearly true.
Yeah. I do think the story, it'd have been fine if it ended, but there was more to tell.
Yes.
So I'm kind of okay with it. It depends how the story goes, whether she did it for money or the story. Yeah. But I thought with this being the end of the original trilogy, it would have made sense had one of those two died, and then when the story come back with like City of Fallen Angels, is that the next one? Yeah, City of Fallen Angels. It'd follow the rest of them.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And I really, just because I love those other characters so much, I want that. And I know Bane has his own like Chronicles book, so I'm really excited to read that at some point. But I love Simon. I love Alec and Bane's relationship, and I love Isabel. So I want their story. I don't really care about the relationship between Clary and Jace now. I want the action from all of them.
Yeah, I like Isabel too. Actually, Magnus is my favorite character. He made a couple of quips in, I don't even remember which book it was, but I think it was the second one. He made a few quips that I was like, yes, you are funny. That's like, and also quite insightful. Yeah, I think I messaged you as at some point when we were reading it to say, oh no, now I have another problem. I don't like Jace or Clary.
Yeah.
I've kind of revised that a little bit upon reflection. I don't dislike Clary, and I do agree with you that she, considering that, first of all, she's a teenager, which,
Yeah.
is actually quite hard to forget because they do like many of that kind of thing. They do act like they're a lot older, but she is a teenager. And she's been thrown into this massive thing, like you said, and plus her mum is sick and she doesn't know what to do about that, and she apparently has this dad now that she is evil, so it must be a lot. So like I think I was annoyed with her for a lot of her behavior, but now thinking about it, I actually agree that there's a lot of stuff for her that's going on. So some of the like petulant, I won't listen to you, I'll just go and do my own thing, that was kind of annoying me is, well, actually, I don't know if that I would behave any differently. Like, that's understandable. There's a lot going on. She's having to try and navigate this whole new world. Plus, she's a teenager, and that's a lot too, in and of itself. That would be a lot if she was just hanging out with Simon at home playing computer games. So I've decided I don't dislike Clary, but I don't like Jace, and I think it's because of the part where he's supposed to be the good-looking, lovely, like he's supposed to be that kind of character that just
he's fitting the stereotype.
He just ends up annoying me because he's a stereotype, and it's like, well, of course he's tall and good-looking and blonde and amazing and has all these incredible skills and blah 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 blah, and the whole thing. And I've actually complained about this in a different video that hasn't gone up yet about something else entirely, but that whole thing where you get told that a character is really nice constantly, but you never see their actions being nice, that drives me up the wall.
Yeah, and I think I agree with that with Jace. He is kind of falling into the stereotype. He's the stereotypical handsome bad boy. But he is the kind of character, because I don't know whether I've just kind of made this up in my head, but I do see it as he's so rude and obnoxious and cocky on the outside, but he's really sad and stuff on the inside. And you got to see that a lot when it came to his relationship with Valentine and things. But there needs to be some sort of progression of him bringing that out. And there hasn't been that yet.
Yes.
And I kind of get that it fit with the character arc of he thinks he's evil because of what Valentine's done to him. So now he's just playing up to that because why not? He can't escape it. So I'm hoping that in the next few books, now that he knows he's not as evil as he's been brought up to believe he is, we'll start seeing some change. But I do agree that being told how great he is, and we can even see parts of how nice he is when he has like a lot of internal things, and you can hear him say that. But him not showing it, it just kind of renders it pointless.
Yeah.
You just think, what's the point of being nice if you're never going to be nice? We're not going to like you just because you think nice things.
Yeah. It's that whole show don't tell. Like, don't, as the narrator, tell me that a character's nice and then not show me the character being nice. Yeah. And I agree. There were some moments where you could see that he was supposed to be like, and again, same with Clary. There's a lot going on. Like, poor kid. He's been through a lot. But there are a few moments like when Max dies, and there are moments where you see the softer side of him. But yeah, I just feel like given the size of the books, she had a lot of stuff she could have done. It's almost like she has the potential to be really good. And that's why I'm happy to continue with the Infernal Devices, because I've heard from a lot of different people on BookTube that the Infernal Devices are a lot better and that her writing gets better. I feel like she has the potential to actually be quite good, but at the moment I'm like, she's not really there yet.
Yeah.
But, if her writing improves, then some of those character things are drawn out a little bit more, and the character arcs are given a little bit more weight, and we get to see a bit more. But yeah, given how thick the books are, it's kind of like some of the like, especially the descriptions.
Yeah.
Did we really need 6 paragraphs worth of description about what a city on fire looks like? We could have had one paragraph. We could have had one sentence. We would have understood. You could have spent quite a bit more of that time giving us more internal stuff on Jace and more.
Yeah. Well, you've just said you've heard from a lot of people that the books, like the writing gets better, the books get better, and I've heard obviously the same things. I've heard so many people tell me you have to read the Infernal Devices because they're really good. But a lot of the positive reviews I've heard for the Infernal Devices, especially, come from people who hate the Mortal Instruments, and now I'm quite scared that because I really like the Mortal Instruments, I won't like the Infernal Devices.
We could have the exact opposite conversation. We could have the exact same conversation, but opposite end people at the end of those three. I'll be like, oh, they were great. You'll be like, they were terrible. What was she thinking?
I think that's just what I'm scared of, because everyone that loves this book hates this one, and I'm thinking, well, I love that book, so am I going to love that book more, or am I going to dislike how different it is? Because obviously it's going to be different if everyone's saying it's better. So I'm going to be like,
totally different time. It's like Victorian England.
Yeah.
Which is actually another reason why I've heard that it's better, and I think a lot of the people I've heard that from prefer that setting. And it's not to say I was going to say I prefer that setting, but that's not necessarily true. I wouldn't say I prefer Victorian England to modern day New York, but not only do I love fantasy, but I also love historical fiction. So the two together works really well for me. So
yeah, I think it'll definitely be interesting. I know one of the slight concerns I have, it's not really a big deal, but I'm slightly concerned that we're still going to be in the same world, but we're going to be meeting new characters again.
Yes.
And I'm going to be like, what if I don't like these characters?
What if I don't like them? Yeah.
Oh, they're not the same people.
But then we go back to Mortal Instruments. So
yes, I'm just excited that we can go back just in case I don't like them. I think I'll really like them. Like everyone, I don't think of, well, I know because the Mortal Instruments has such mixed reviews, either you love it or you hate it, or in your case, you're kind of in the middle. I've not heard negative things about the Infernal Devices yet. So that kind of gives me hope that it's going to be good.
Yep.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it plays out. I'm excited to see it change to England. The issue is obviously I read books by picturing characters in my head and playing it like a film. So now I'm going to be stressing out about, right, who can play this role?
Oh no.
So I'm going to have to recast. I'm going to have to recast everybody.
Oh no. That's right, because we had that whole, these are the people I'm seeing. Yeah.
We had so many different people. It was so strange.
It was funny. Well, I don't really see that way, so I kind of had to go hunting for people that I thought would suit. So I don't really, it's weird. I don't know how to describe how I read, because I don't really read, and that's part of the reason why, going totally off tangent now, I'm not really a graphic novel reader, because I don't know how to read a graphic novel, because I'm a very text-based reader, so I don't know how to remind myself to stop and look at the pictures. Like even if I'm watching a subtitled film or something, I often end up realizing that I haven't looked at what the film for a long
I do that
time.
with subtitles. I just read the subtitles.
Especially because they're so quick a lot of the time.
Yeah. But I don't know what I am. I know when it comes to like learning things, like when I was in school and uni and all that, I'm a very visual learner. So I like colourful things. That's why I've done my bookshelves as rainbow coloured. And when I haven't started yet, but when I start like annotating books, I like having the colours so I can see it. I am very visual. So when I read a book, and if I'm not kind of picturing it as like a story, my mind does wander every now and again.
Yeah.
Like I'll be reading a book and I'll be like, ooh, fly. And I'll watch the fly for a bit. Whereas the way I've started doing it, because when I first started reading, I didn't bother at all. It was only when I first properly got into reading when I was in school, that's when I started picturing things. Because when I was younger, I just kind of looked at words and thought, right, don't care. couldn't care less, don't want to do this. But when I started picturing things and visualizing it, because I'm a visual learner as it is, I took the story in more.
Yeah.
So I've always done that now. Whenever I read a book, I assign an actor or actress to the character,
Okay. That's
and
really
then play
interesting.
it as a film in my head. So when they speak in the story, they speak the line in my head.
That-
When it tells them to do things, they go and do it.
Wow.
And that's how I
So
just
do you
do that.
double up? So like whoever you had for Clary, will she also be, I don't know, like have you read a book at the same time and been like, she'd be perfect, and then do you know what I'm
Yeah, I
trying to
do
say?
sometimes. I do that sometimes. Because I was reading, often as well, I have found that if I'm watching a TV show at the minute,
Yep.
um, the characters in that show tend to appear in my book because they're the first people that pop into my head.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
if none of them fit, I go looking. But a lot of the, obviously this, for like Clary, for example, they're very specific on like the hair color and what she looks like. And so I'm kind of more hunting for what she would look like. Whereas if I'm picturing other characters from other books and it's just more of a generic mid-30s brunette woman,
Yep.
I just kind of find anyone who's recently been in my head from a TV show I've been watching who fits.
Yep.
And I usually get about 5 pages in and I'm like, no, this actress isn't speaking the line right, I'm recasting her. And I find someone else.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
I've
so
recast someone like
interesting.
halfway through, which is annoying for me
Yeah, it
because
would be.
in my head, Sebastian was a Korean actor. And then when we
Okay,
found
yep.
out he was Jonathan, I was like,
Oh.
well, you don't look at all like Clary, Valentine, or Jocelyn. So I'm annoyed
So now I
now.
have to go and wow.
But I just kept it as that for the end of the book because I thought the
That's
only
so
time,
weird.
well, when we kind of figured it out who he was, we was like 80% of the way through. And I thought, doesn't matter.
It's
But
fine.
if he comes back in future books, I'm going to have to recast.
Wow, that's so interesting. That's amazing.
I
I
don't know
would
why I do that.
I would find
It
that
just naturally did it.
that's really interesting. I would find that confusing because when I'm watching a TV show or a movie or whatever, if I see an actor that I know but I don't know why, then I have to go and hunt for, like, whilst I'm watching it, I have to get online and find out what other things they've been in and where I know them from. So if I was
Yeah.
picturing them in my head all the time, sorry, I just covered up my mic. If I was picturing them in my head all the time as an actor, then I'd be like, oh God, where do I know that from?
Yeah, that's the thing for me. The guy that plays Luke in my head,
Yes.
I didn't have a clue who he was. I just remember watching him in a TV show and then pictured him. It wasn't even in a recent TV show. It was one that I watched years ago. But when I just started reading it, I was like, oh, he fits. He could be a werewolf quite easily.
Yeah.
So then I just started with him.
Yep.
And then when I said, oh, I'll send you what I think these people are, I was sat there like, who the frickin' hell is it? I had to end up Googling the TV show and then Googling his character, but I couldn't remember his character's name. So then I spent about half an hour looking through Wikipedia
Who he
trying to
was.
find his character because he was only in it like 3 episodes or something. So it was just kind of surprising.
Did you figure out what TV show it was and what character he was?
I can't remember his character again now, but he was in Revenge.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure. Who did you send? Now I have to go and remind myself of who you sent. So I'm pretty sure it was funny because I'm pretty sure.
You knew him.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
said,
it
oh,
was.
yes, this guy. I was like,
It was
who's that?
because I'm watching. Rowan and I are watching Battlestar Galactica at the moment, and he's in Battlestar Galactica, and it was funny because when you sent me that, I was like, "Hey, there's that guy from the," and I was like, "But I can't." Like, because I'd been watching the show and reading the book, I was like, nah, he's not Luke. He's he's Sam Anders. So so that's why. But then I'd been watching I can't remember, another TV show that had Luke Evans. This is why I picked Luke Evans, and Dakota Fanning, which is one of the reasons why I picked Dakota Fanning.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Luke Evans would be good at the role. I can picture him. You've just got to find someone who looks a bit rugged who could be a werewolf,
exactly.
and you're fine.
Exactly. Just don't pick whoever it was that played Jacob in Twilight, because
Oh God, no. No.
so yes, we shall have to talk about Infernal Devices when we finish Infernal Devices.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I'm
me
planning
too.
like I love coming up with all my predictions for like the stories, so I hope I can still come up with predictions. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what all of my vlogs of these reading the Shadowhunter books have been. It's literally just me saying, I predict this, and this. All the way through, I just predict it, and everyone loves my predictions because I always end up being right.
Nice.
So I hope that can continue.
Hey, do you own the Infernal Devices?
Yeah.
So you
I've
have
got the Mortal Instruments and Infernal Devices, and I just need to get the Dark Artifices and the others. Because there's the Dark Artifices one, which is like the Lady Midnight, Queen of Air and
Oh
Dark.
yeah.
And then there's like I don't think they're part of the main series, but it's like the Bane Chronicles and the
yes.
Ghosts of the Shadow Market or something
And then
like
she's
that.
got the new Chain of Gold, which is
Chain
a
of
whole
Gold's
nother.
out. And I think she's got one that's like red and white, something, I don't know. But I'm planning on getting them all because I just think I like the world. I'll read all of them.
Yeah.
But I'm not bothered about getting a book like that Chain of Gold one at the moment. It's part of a trilogy, and that's the first book in it. So I'm like, well, might as well just wait till the rest of them are out.
Yeah.
So I'm not in a rush for them, but I'm excited to read like the Infernal Devices, the Mortal Instruments, get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy them, so it'd be really nice to just keep going on with that. But I know I'm going to be so sad when they finish because I actually did very, very nearly cry when I finished that book, just because I knew I was obviously going to go back to them after.
But you knew you were done for now.
Yeah, but I was done with them for now, and I thought that's 3 books, and I'm not going to see you guys again.
You know you can reread though, right?
I know.
I know, but it's not the same though, because you're like
Not the same.
Yeah.
The story isn't done. They have 3 more books, and I'm saying goodbye to you.
That's true.
I feel like I'm DNFing them.
No, we just haven't got there yet.
Although
I'm nervous about the opposite. I'm nervous about going back to them, because if she wrote the Mortal Instruments all together and then the Infernal Devices are better, then I'm nervous about being like, these are good. Oh man.
I don't think she did.
Oh, okay. So she
did the first 3, and then she did Clockwork Angel, and then book 4, and then Clockwork Prince, then book 5, and then Clockwork Princess, then book 6.
Wow.
So she kind of did them one after the other. So if the writing's better for the Infernal Devices, I'm hoping it can translate. Because I think there was about a 3 or 4 year gap between City of Glass and the Infernal Devices.
Okay.
So she might have taken a break and learned how to write.
Did a few creative writing courses.
Yeah.
Got an editor.
But I do have I'm trying to come up with predictions of what the next 3 could be about now that the whole Valentine story is over.
Yeah.
I'm like, right, what's coming next?
What's coming next? What's it gonna be?
Well, throughout all of the second book, through City of Ashes, I thought Jace is going to become evil and they're going to have to battle Jace. But I don't think that's
yeah.
So now, based on the fact that they didn't find his body, I think Jonathan's not dead and he's going to come back and he's going to be the big villain. So that'll be interesting.
That will be interesting.
But I am scared because the story of like those main people does, up to now, officially end after City of Heavenly Fire, which is book 6, does officially end.
Right, yes.
I'm scared that some of them are going to die.
Uh-huh.
Because as much as I love them all, I might feel a bit annoyed if they all make it out alive.
Yeah.
I think at least one of them needs to die.
Needs to die. Yeah.
Like I thought one of them needed to die in this book, but then when Max died, I thought, you know what? You went there a little bit. I'm happy with you for
We'll
doing
allow,
that.
yeah, we'll allow some pain. You have to have
And then
some
to be
pain.
fair, she did kill Jace. She just cheated.
That's true.
So I'm like, well, I don't think they can all come out of this alive. So
No.
I'm just interested to see
Which
who.
one? Yeah.
If I had to make a prediction now, I would say Luke and Simon.
Because
I
they're
think-
slightly more expendable.
Yeah, I think it'd still have the big emotional impact on all the characters, but it's not Clary and Jace.
Yes.
And I think people would be mad because they love Isabel too much.
Yes.
And then I think people would be too mad about Alec because they love Bane.
Yes. Yes.
So Simon and Luke just kind of make sense.
Yeah. And she's already not killed Jocelyn, so you can't threaten.
Yeah.
You can't now kill, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Plus she's killed Simon like 3 times already, so
Well,
really
that's
that
true.
should guarantee him to be safe. But you never know.
That's true. That is true. Oh dear.
Oh, that annoyed me reading that book. I was just reading it like I cried when he died, and then he come back, and I was like, oh, okay. And then he died again. I was like, for Christ's sake. And I'm sure he died again. I even said in the vlog, I was like, really? You've killed him again?
How many times can you kill this?
I was like, why have you
poor
brought him back to
person?
life just to kill him again?
What is
It was a
even
very
happening
stressful
here? Yeah. Oh, funny. All right. Well, I think we have just about said everything, really.
Yeah, I think we have.
So
Had some good talks about that.
yeah, I think so.
So just realised after this bit that I actually forgot to say bye. So bye. Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed our discussion on book 1, 2 and 3 of the Mortal Instruments series. We are going to be moving on to the Infernal Devices books. I will be vlogging my experience of those for the first time, and then I will be moving right back on to book 4, 5 and 6. And I'm so excited to just find out what happens next. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm going to be doing the entire Shadowhunter Chronicles, all of the Bane Chronicles, Shadowhunter Codex, Tales from a Shadow Market, Shadowhunter Academy. I'm just trying to name them all. The Red Scrolls of Magic thing, Chain of Gold eventually, but I'll get to them all. But that is it from me. So I will see everyone later, and thank you so much for watching.